Raider Jim, your thoughts overall on a wild week 3 as we try and find the pulse of the league 3 weeks in.
Lovers of the horse races like you and I are, it felt like one of those days where I would go to the window, buy my ticket, and then come back and just throw my ticket on the ground, because it just was one of those days none of my horses were finishing in the money.
Yeah, it was a really tough day for me as well, even highlighted in my celebration of Jordan Davis blocking the field goal. About the time he hit the 30 or 20 yard line, the realization that my plus 3.5 ticket just went up in flames. But, luckily, as someone who did have a dog in the fight for the Eagles, it didn't hurt as bad. But that's as bad of a loss as I think you'll see in the NFL, even going all the way back to being up 26-7. You got to feel good. And then next thing you know, the Eagles are covering. Wild game there. And I got caught with holding on to a Packers ticket. I got caught drinking the Kool-Aid a little too early, and even a little bit of downplaying what the Browns can do. But I'll tell you this, the Browns defense with Myles Garrett and Mason Graham, the rookie, who is, it's only 3 weeks, but I saw something that he has a 42% win rate for a defensive tackle. The NFL average is 9%. So really incredible stuff from that Cleveland defense. Of course, the offense is going to be an issue, always be a little bit of a big question mark going forward. But finally, the Chiefs get their first win of the season. And I tell you what, the Chiefs, they're good and they're probably going to make the playoffs, but if they don't get some of their weapons back, that is a really boring offense, and an offense that's going to struggle to get 24 to 28 points every single week, no matter who they're playing. It's very odd to see an Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes-led offense look as just kind of blah as you can get. I mean, obviously the Giants' final possession where Russell Wilson, wow, we'll get to the Giants momentarily, but that final possession is pretty sad. But for the Chiefs, big one for them coming up, which we'll, of course, get to. But looking ahead to week 4, as we do hit that kind of quasi-quarter pull now with 17 games, it's not as cut and dry as the quarter pull of the season, but I'm still going to call it that. Week 4 beginning, and we do have the return of the international game. And on my sheet, or on our sheet for us, I put London because I just saw it was an international game. It's actually in Dublin, so different country, same kingdom, but we're not going to dive into that one fully. That'll be one of the games we just kind of gloss over, but I did want to give everyone a heads up. We got early football on Sunday. But diving into week 4, we are going to start in the AFC West. It is the Chicago Bears minus 110 on the money line. They're heading to Vegas to face the Raiders. The Raiders are going to be 1-point favorites, minus 110 as well on the money line. Pretty much a pick 'em. And the over-under is 48. Just a heads up, we are recording here on Wednesday, the 24th of September. So that's what the lines are. But no one gets this podcast started talking Raider football outside of Raider Jim. So, Mr. Martinez, your thoughts? Bears heading to Vegas to face the favored Raiders.
Yeah, I don't know how they're favorite. I don't know how Chicago, they had the line on that game last week on the home game, and yet as well as they played against the Cowboys, they're coming against a team that couldn't have success against a beat-up Washington Commanders. Against Mariota, because I still like the line trash. The Raiders defense, not good, just not good. And now they're coming in against matchup. You're going to see Darian Porter, the cornerback for the Raiders, going against Rome Odunze for the Bears. That's going to be a heck of a matchup. The other thing is the Bears run a lot of 3-receiver look. And so they're going to open up the running game, and the defensive line just isn't doing it. They're not getting to the quarterback. So quite honestly, I think this is going to be a real challenge. I don't think Gentry is going to do this is week 4. He should have had it by now, especially against a beat up Washington team. Best game he had, but still this point. Good player, solid player, but then you look at Josh Jacobs wearing the Packer colors, and all of a sudden Jacobs is looking like a pretty damn good thing. You might have hung. Take this one on the money line. I think the Bears can put up points against the Raiders. I don't know if the Raiders can put up enough points to go over. Give
Yeah, I struggle watching the Raiders at times because I do think there are times there are things there. And as a fantasy football player, I know nobody cares about your fantasy team, and I totally get it. But Brock Bowers either needing to get healthy or kind of reintroduced to the offense will really be hopefully a bit of a boost for this team. But you have two teams that are definitely moving in different directions. And we're now looking at 2 straight games where we're scratching our heads when a Bears line comes out now for 2 different reasons now. And again, everything points to Chicago here except for the line. And even though it is a very small line, I would have expected Chicago to be 2 or 3 point favorites in this one. I don't know. I feel like this is another trap game, another Admiral Akbar. Going to be screaming it's a trap in my ear Sunday morning when my card gets put together. But for the sake of this podcast, I think you have to go Chicago money line. The Raiders offense needs to either be more balanced, or they need to take the training wheels off of Ashton Gentry. There's plenty of sound bites out there of Chip Kelly saying, in basketball, it's called load management. Well, you don't have 82 games to figure it out. You got 17. This is a different league, a lot more expectations on the line here. My biggest concern with the Raiders is I expect more out of Pete Carroll coached teams, and not even the talent side of it, but you do wonder about the effort late in games when they are getting. They weren't necessarily blown out by the numbers against the Chargers, but I don't think anybody expected that game to go differently. So with all that being said, I like Chicago here, but I am so weary of this being a trap. It's like you keep finding candy. Eventually you might end up in a place you don't want to be. But I'm going to take Chicago again for the sake of the podcast, and I'm going to take the under as well until the Raiders can prove that they can put up 20 points regularly. I think you have to start pounding the unders with this team because they're probably going to be chasing points. And you do start to question, is it time for them to figure out maybe Kenny Pickett's the guy? I know it sounds crazy, but Geno does not seem like he is it right now. Question marks aplenty in Vegas, unfortunately. But